Hello everyone, welcome to our first annual nonPareil broadcast. My name is Antonio Ramirez. I am one of the veteran crews, and I got
Gabriel over here. I'm also a veteran crew that started in late 2019. I've been here since. And
I'm Chris. Beginnings are unknown. No need to know that information.
got it. So we got mystery origins. I love it already.
Love it already, yes.
And I'm the boring Lisa. I'm the director, and I'm in the shadows.
First off, you're not boring. You're in the shadows, but the room's already bright as it is. But we're glad to have you here, Lisa.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh, I love this.
Yep.
Great intro. So, topic of today. What are we talking about?
Sports. Everything about sports.
Everything about sports. That's great. And alright, for starters, we're going straight to college out of all the beginnings. We're getting a little recap of the triumphant victory of the Michigan Wolverines, winning their first title since 26 years.
Wolverines? Who
Kind
they
of a
play
big deal.
against?
I guess.
I don't know nothing about sports, but I think that's a very big deal.
Yeah, it is. A triumphant victory over the Washington Huskies. It's been 26 years since they won the title. It's like a long way to making it their 12th title.
Wow.
That's crazy. It's been 26 years.
Yeah, there's
That is a long, I did not know it was that long.
It really was that long. It's been like I was like 4 years old. Like I don't even know sports. And so that leads us a question because now we mentioned college. There's been a lot of talks about some drafts, like even some juniors leaving early to go to the draft. Like you just talked earlier with the Ohio State player,
Yeah, with Marvin Harris.
Marvin Harris. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably going top 5 in the draft. Probably one of the best wide receivers to come out of college since back with Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase in that duo. But he's a big deal. He's a big ticket item.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Really big deal. And that leads a future question from Michigan. Like, how would they perform is the quarterback or is the other receivers from Michigan going to leave straight to the draft, or they might come in next year for this senior season? Only time will tell.
Yeah, I think it depends on Harbaugh if he decides to go or not.
Depends on Harbaugh.
He might go too.
Only time will tell.
Yep.
Only time will tell.
So to those that are not very sports experience oriented, especially for me, those like I guess on the spectrum that want to get into sports or need like an introduction to sports, how would you dissect this, and what would be a good place to start to introduce somebody into getting into sports?
It's a great question.
That's really a great question.
I think for me, watching like an exciting game, because you may not know what's happening, but you're just so captivated by all the hype, the loud, the cheering. I don't know. What do you think?
That's an interesting question. I think
Yeah.
I'll use my wife as an example, as someone who doesn't really watch sports. The sport she finds the most fun to watch is basketball, because it's very simple to understand. You throw the ball into
The Magic game that we recently attended.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, like especially for me who doesn't understand sports and everything, eventually you kind of like look at what goes on and everything, and then you eventually catch on. It's like, okay, so when the ball, like the timer goes down and everything, when the person passes the ball, when it reaches 0, then that's like time over, or how does that work?
A turnover.
Like
Exactly.
turnover, like a shot clock violation. If you don't take the shot while you still have the ball in your hand, it's gonna be a turnover there.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
And what makes basketball really fun to watch is it's non-stop action. Besides
Until somebody
timeouts.
scores and such, or at least if somebody like does a foul ball or like goes outside the court and such.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's back and forth action the entire time.
Yeah. So aside from basketball, there's obviously a large array of sports and everything. Like you got baseball, soccer, and would you even classify motorsports as like a form of sports to watch and everything?
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, and of course that kind of boils down to like NASCAR, Formula One, or like rally races and all that. Yeah, which is what I prefer really enjoy and everything.
Yeah. I mean that's definitely a sport. Like top racers, even some retiring racers. Like well, I know this racer from Lowe's. And why I cannot remember his name. It's so long. Like ever since my dad made me watch NASCAR, it's been years.
It's a NASCAR racer?
I think it was Jimmy Johnson.
Oh,
Jimmy Johnson, number 48. There we go, from Lowe's.
That makes sense. Okay.
There we go.
Yep.
I'm all about tailgate food. So I always show up for the food. When they tell me there's a
when the food
sports...
trucks arrive and everything.
It's the best.
Oh, and even if you go to a house party, right, for game day or something, there's always going to be good tailgate food.
Good.
Exactly.
I'm there for the food.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like
What
just,
else you got? Tony?
Well, I was saying for starters for starters who are new to the sports or want to get the used to it, or where it all began, like pretty much the history of sports. Like this show, I've been watching for a very long time, for a few years, and I pretty much and highly recommend it for those who want to know the history of sports. It's a show called ESPN 30 for 30 that shows the histories of each sport cast, like how the Miami Hurricanes became the most dominant college teams in football, the histories of the Dallas Cowboys, how they got their side of the stories, and finally, pretty much recommendation here is the history about Nick Saban, which is what we're going to right now. Later on, after them right now.
Yep.
So that's pretty much the recommendation to those who want to know anything about sports, about histories.
ESPN 30 for 30. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, I have another question, like in terms of sports and everything. So, esports, how well would you say like that is on par with real sports, and how would you compare the two and everything? Because, what are your thoughts?
Esports.
And how they compare to sports?
Yeah, they definitely have like the same amount of intensity. You got people that are well known in figures and everything. People are rooting for other teams and everything, especially for like competitive matches and games like CS:GO or Rainbow Six Siege and all that. Yeah, definitely adds up to that.
I think they're a lot closer in relation than people give them credit. Although one is the physical, right?
Yeah, one's physical and the other one's mental with a little bit of motor skills, but like I guess
Motor skills and
heavy
gaming,
motor
yeah.
skills technically, because you had to rely on reaction time. It's almost like a bit of, not reverse psychology, but like basically mind games at this point, to kind of like understand what your opponent could do, probability, chances and such, 1/3 chance, that sort of thing.
That's where I think they relate, because you see
Football in particular, they
Yeah.
have like strategies they have to come up with to kind of
Yes.
get the ball
Yeah.
around to the other end.
it's all strategy and it's all it's a lot of mind games.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of pros that are just pros have the physical gifts to do those things, but then the greats, they always talk about their mentality and their mindset going into these games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where I think they relate. It's all
Especially for coaches on how like they need to help educate their players to get into the opponent's head and everything.
Exactly. And come with trick plays like I'm thinking about the Philly special or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
The Philly special or the failed Philly special.
Okay, that one I do remember at least.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Yep.
Well, speaking of which, speaking of football, since not sure when and the timer, but we got some interesting games coming out the NFL weekends. Pretty much the wild cards coming out against their opponents here. And so now we're going some picks here for the weekends, including the Monday Martin Luther King Day. And let me open my notes here because I got it saved right here.
In the meantime, those that are watching the podcast, if you want to scan this QR code right here while Antonio's on his phone right here behind it, feel free to scan it and then learn more about us.
Yep, thank you, Gabe. And let me just have a sip of this before we introduce.
It's a great first
Okay.
day.
Yeah.
Alright, let's start with the Saturday's matchup at 4:30. We got the Cleveland Browns against the Houston Texans, which is all the way at Texas. And yes, Texas, I'm shouting out to you.
Yo, what's up?
What do you pick?
Well, that's a hard one, because on one side we have the Browns, who are the Browns, and they just historically are not good as a franchise, especially in the playoffs. It's not a hot take, it is just a fact. But they have Joe Flacco, who is somehow still playing in this league, and then you have the Texans, who have CJ Stroud, who is a rookie quarterback who already in his first season brought this team to a playoffs. I'm going to go with the Texans on this one. I'm going to ride with Texas.
Alright, riding out.
Texas.
How about you, Gabe?
It's a lot to take in, honestly, but if I had a good place to start, I would definitely like be able to answer that fully. But like I'm just kind of like lost in trying to understand what it is with the Browns and everything. But yeah, but knowing on how like they're infamously bad and everything, it makes me wonder like if there ever is going to be a turning point as to when they will actually start getting good. So you heard us out there, start getting good, please. We want to see some action.
So you have no idea on the picks.
No idea, honestly.
Okay.
Honestly, I might even just do like a wild card and just like go for the Browns and just
There you go.
flip a coin factor and everything.
You might be the
Okay.
reason they will win.
Yeah.
Because you're
Yeah,
right.
you never know. You
There
never
you
know.
go. So you got to split the decision.
Oh, well. Yes.
There you go.
Listen to the crowd. They're cheering for you, Gabe. They are cheering for you.
Thank you. Here's till Thursday.
Okay, that's for me. I'm just gonna tell this a little secret because before we ever did this, me and my father have a little wager on who's gonna be the super dog, the underdog of this whole NFL in this playoffs game. Here's the thing. My dad, he decided to stick with the Detroit Lions because they came out of nowhere. And I responded and I told him, my super dog underdog is nothing but the Cleveland Browns.
Really?
I'm going with the Browns and a road upset against the Houston Texans. I appreciate the rookie. He did good, like he did an amazing job. But I got a road upset win for the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
All right, next it's tonight matchup here. It's a little issues right here because we got the Miami Dolphins on the road against Kansas City Chiefs. Miami having some tough challenges with some injuries right here.
Yeah. Then both teams are coming off a rough end of the season, right? The Dolphins just lost to the Bills, got bumped down to the 6th seed in the division. So I don't know if their spirits are up. I gotta go with Patrick Mahomes. He's a young goat. He's a young buck. You know, so he's up and coming. I gotta go with Mahomes.
I'm gonna side with Chris right here, especially because like the whole deal or the idea of a rookie kind of like just getting into the field and everything. Hopefully, there's potential for him. If that's the case.
Okay, and as for me, and you know who's always at the Chiefs game at the home games? Taylor Swift. That is correct. So who's she gonna root for? Obviously Kansas City. I'm also gonna root for Kansas City and the Chiefs.
Okay. Some T-Swift magic.
Yep. Exactly. A Taylor Swift magic right there.
That's a good way if you've never watched sports.
Yeah.
Just go watch the Chiefs game because you'll know Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I hope you know Taylor Swift.
You'd be crazy if you do not know her.
It reminds me of like all the halftime moments and everything. Like I remember like there were like talks and rumors of like I guess Sweet Victory playing at one of the football events and everything, but I don't think it ever happened.
Well, that's a close for Saturday. For a Sunday matchup, we got a little early special for 1 o'clock. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I don't know what magically made it in with some Christmas magic there.
Yep.
But if they have any magic left over, they're on the road against the number 2 seed of the Buffalo Bills, who pretty much embarrassed Miami. Like we are the true kings of the AFC East. South.
Yep. And I think the Bills are gonna destroy the Steelers. I'm sorry, I don't think it's gonna be close. Steelers I don't know how they made the playoffs, but they did. They always do. So credit where credit is due, but I gotta go with the Bills.
Bills for a fact. I may not be into sports, but I do know that the Steelers suck. Yeah, I'm gonna say it flat out there. So.
I mean, okay, now you mentioned flat out. You forgot to put rusty because the Steel is always rust because they can be a bit rusty in some playoff games, which they are going to be right now
They've got
at
to change their
Buffalo,
play style.
which they're going to be freezed up, rusty at the Buffalo Bills game. I'm sticking with the Bills.
Yep.
Josh Allen is probably going to go off against the Steelers, and they're going to move on through. And our next matchup is at 4:30, and this is pretty torn here. Like, I didn't expect this team to make it in, but we got the Green Bay Packers on the road at Cowboys Stadium in Dallas, and that's looking at you, Texas, round 2.
Man, I really don't want the Cowboys to win.
No one wants the Cowboys to win.
Nobody
Because
wants
it's
them to win. I as much as I want to take the Packers and the biggest upset ever, the Cowboys should win. The Cowboys should win. And if they lose, they should not be in the NFL anymore.
They gotta retire from that thing. 'Cause
that's tough.
That's
That's tough for the boys.
It is the truth.
I remember going to like a Cowboys stadium like a long time ago when I was like going on a trip for like Christmas and everything, and it was a magical moment when I went there and everything because it was like a banquet that we went to and everything at the stadium. But I'll have to side with Cowboys on this one.
Yeah.
Don't let us down, otherwise you're out for the count.
Yep.
like one of us count, but there was an old head coach that once said a famous catchphrase, and this is also my pick here. He always says this, as words from a former head coach of the Cowboys in Miami, Jimmy. Yes, this is not Jimmy Johnson. How about them Cowboys? Cowboys gonna win this at home over the Packers, and they'll be feasting on cheese tonight.
I'm a good fan of cheese, so Gouda there.
And speaking of which, that was the 4:30 matchup. Here's the Sunday night matchup. It is the Los Angeles Rams against the Detroit Lions, which is a bit of a history there because both of them trade quarterbacks with each other, with Stafford and all that stuff. Stafford and Goff traded, and now they're gonna meet each other again. They're former teammates.
Yep. I think the Lions are due for a playoff win. I think the Rams are gonna put up a good fight. It's gonna be a great game. If I had to bet on it, I would go the Lions. Jared Goff, it's time to get his revenge.
Lions, they got the courage, and it sounds like Chris has got high hopes, so
Are you picking the Rams or the Lions?
Lions for sure.
I'm also gonna go with the Lions because they hooked up so hard over the years, and last season they somehow ended up winning and like getting close to it. But somehow this season they had sort of a bit of a bounce back. Like I still remember week 1 at the start of the season, they never suspect them to win over the Chiefs in the first week. Like they never suspect this. But seeing all these blue colors right here in the bottles, Detroit right here,
Lions
right here.
There you go.
And a little special last pick in Martin Luther King Day, Monday night. We got speaking of some sort of defending champs or not, like they qualified, NFC champions right here, is the Philadelphia Eagles on the road in Tampa. Yes, this is here in Florida right now. We're in Florida. Tampa Bay against the Buccaneers on a Monday night. Well, the only final Monday night here.
Yep, it's our home team. It's our home team technically, and I'm going with the Bucks. I think the upset happens. I think the Eagles are gonna get exposed. I'm going Bucks all day. That's my upset pick. I wish I had an alarm. Upset alarm, I could slam it.
You need to have like that alarm, and then you need to have another alarm that kind of like just one that basically rubs it in their face.
Exactly.
And everything. It's like, ha! There you go.
The easy button. That
Yeah.
was easy. After next week, that was easy.
Next week,
Yeah.
yeah.
But something of more bragging rights. But
Yes.
yeah, Bucks for sure.
Yes, Bucks for sure. Geez. Like, I don't know, like, Hurts they've been going on and off. Like, I've been hearing some small key injuries, like some small players. I'm still uncertain if there are going to be some starters going to be coming back, or Mayfield, like, even Mayfield's had some rough times. Like, I just pretty much right now, he's been limping a little bit. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, because I got a feeling that scream, I think, it's coming from Philly. It's coming away from Philly. I know I don't want to break your hearts, but I don't see them lose on the road to Philly. But if I'm wrong, here's the thing, a little bet for Chris. If I'm wrong, I will buy you a Cuban sandwich at the cafe by the time of Wednesday.
Okay, I accept. I'm down with that.
Terms and condition has been met. Someone actually, hold on. We need a coin toss real quick. Who's gonna make the first play and everything?
I don't know. I think the Bucks are
Heads.
going to score first.
Whoever made the bet first, that's your call.
Okay. All right. I'm good with that, Antonio. I'll take you up on that.
Yeah, if I'm wrong, like, you get a nice Cuban sandwich at the cafe.
Okay.
There you go.
It's
You
a
have it
deal.
here, folks.
I got
Cuban
you.
sandwich.
Well, pretty much that reached us the end of the time limit, and first I want to thank you all for watching this podcast here, and also want to thank Dave and Chris having a good time right now, and even our lovely Shadow back there.
Yay!
There we go.
Great job. Great
And,
job.
Thank you.
We'll see you all next week.
See y'all later, folks.